So you understand that, yes, fine, giving everyone a fair go, yeah, but not at the exclusion of Christianity. And that is what is happening today. So when you look at relativism, as I put it out there, it pretty much denies the existence of right and wrong, and that's what objectivity is. Being objective is knowing that there is an absolute right, there's an absolute wrong. But relativism leads to this chaos and moral confusion and an erosion of human dignity and value. So that illustration there is quite profound, with the blind people or the blindfolded people pulling at the elephant and everyone having a subjective view of what it is. The guy pulls at its tail and he says, "Oh, it's a rope." The guy touches its side and he says it's a wall. The guy on the top holds a part of the elephant and says it's a fan. And the guy holds its tusk and says it's a spear. The other one holds the trunk and says it's a snake. The other one holds the foot and says it's a tree trunk. And every one of them is right in their own understanding. But is it the truth? Is it a rope? Is it a snake? Is it a spear? And this is where you need God's word to shine the light, to understand and call a spade a spade. So when you look at the dangers of relativism, I've highlighted it as this here, that it is a manipulation of information because it allows misinformation to thrive and falsehoods can be framed as subjective truths. And that's a big danger, because what you have is not the whole truth. Moral ambiguity. Relativism justifies harmful behaviors by claiming that moral truths are subjective and thus can vary widely. I shared this with you guys earlier, and I said that you look at public areas where before, we say that countries like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, a lot of the Commonwealth countries were founded on Judeo-Christian values. But where's the Ten Commandments today? Before the Ten Commandments was openly displayed, made available, but where are the Ten Commandments today? It's taken up, it's hidden. It's not anymore in parliament buildings, in government buildings, government places. They're not there. Because one of the key parts of the Ten Commandments is thou shalt not lie. Now imagine putting that up in parliament where politicians are, and you have this constant reminder, thou shalt not lie. How distracting and a barrier that will be to them. And that is where you find the devil removes it because of this. And which leads me to my next point there, that the dangers of relativism is that it causes conflict and division. Because division arises when there's conflicting truths that are upheld at the expense of objective truth. And you see that today, biblical wisdom is now seen as subjective. That, that's good for you Christians, you can believe in that, but that's not what we want to believe in. That's for you to hold on to. But we need to know that when you look at God's word, when you look at all of these in light of God's word, we see clearly there, Proverbs 12:22, that God detests lying lips. That word detest is quite mildly put there. Some Bibles say God hates. He hates with a passion lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. And as I said, you find this happening even in so-called Christian circles, where the churches, and I say churches, I mean Christians, have embraced the way of the world and say, well, if the world is doing it, it's okay that we might as well deviate here and deviate there. But God is very clear in that. And we are living in this time of Isaiah 5:20. There's no paraphrase on that, and what it is that we're living in a time where good is evil, or good is made to be evil, and evil is made to be good. And this is an indicator of how far we've come in humanity, in mankind. That we are living in a time now where this is what it is. I mean, we're going to go back 30, 40 years when certain things would have been obvious. And again, that's wrong. Man and a man living together, a woman and a woman living together, that's wrong. That can't be right. But today, it's accepted.